Welcome to the Women on Weights podcast. I am Coach Lori, and I am so excited to be your host for this podcast. We're going to be talking about everything weight training, everything nutrition, everything cardio, all the things that you want to know about when it comes to women and weight training. I am so excited to take this journey with you. Let's go. Awesome. I am here with Jessica. I am so excited you're here, Jessica. You have been a client of mine for 2 years now.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years now. It is so exciting. I wanted to get you in here because I'm really excited to chat with you about everything that we have to talk about. But first, I want you to just kind of give us an overview of you, something about your family, about what you do, all that kind of good stuff. Let us get to know Jessica.
Okay. So I'm Jessica. I just turned 40. So my body has been changing. I've got, some different hormones and things, happening that I haven't been used to before. I have a son who is 20. I am married. I am a therapist and a clinical director at an agency in town. So I focus on mental health and substance abuse. And at our agency, we take a very holistic, well-rounded approach to treating mental health and substance abuse issues. So not just focusing on behavioral health, but also physical health, emotional health, making sure that people have supports, things like that are all really important in a well-rounded recovery system, whether it's for substances or mental health.
Awesome. Well, wonderful. That sounds amazing. And we're going to get a little bit more into that as we go through here. But let's first kind of talk about, what made you decide to take on, this fitness journey and specifically weight training? Like what made you decide that?
So I had been doing a lot of cardio because I think that that's really pushed for women a majority of time is, kill yourself on the treadmill and do all of these things. And I wasn't seeing results. So I kind of started doing some stuff on my own. And I was seeing a little bit of progress there. But then, moving into our neighborhood, I found you and you told me how important it is, especially for women, to start weight training to kind of meet those goals and those milestones. And it was something I was nervous about because I was a gymnast for a really long time. So my body is beat up and I had a lot of physical injuries that I thought would prevent me from doing, a lot of weight training. But I've been pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
So, but that's kind of what, got me started into the weight training is that I was not getting the things that I wanted to accomplish with just killing myself with cardio, 5 days a week.
Gotcha. So you actually had not done weight training before, or if it was very light, or what kind
Yeah.
of was your history?
It was light. Like I had like some dumbbells at home. I had some bands at home. I'd done some weight training in high school. And then right after I got married, so like pretty close to being 30, I had a friend who was going to school to be a personal trainer, and I trained with her for a little bit, and I remembered liking it, but then I went to grad school and I just kind of got away from it and fell off and kind of got in a rut, and then I didn't want to stay there anymore. So I was like, I want to change. I want to see a change. So that's kind of when I started picking up with cardio and stuff again, but I just was not getting the results that I wanted or that I used to get, like back in, when I was 20. If I walked or jogged a mile, I could, really tell a difference. And then, in my 30s, I was like, this is not what it used to be. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of got frustrating.
Yeah, things change.
Yes.
And it's hard because, like you said, when you're that young, you can just get on a treadmill, do whatever, and life is good. You burn all these calories and things are good. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this is not enough anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And you've got to figure out something else to do.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about, so you're in the mental health, and what is your, what is your degree and all that? Can you give us like
So I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling with an emphasis in trauma and crisis. And then I started with just mental health. I wanted to work with domestic violence survivors. That was kind of where my passion lied. And I went to work at an agency who unfortunately closed a couple of years ago. But while I was there, I noticed this huge correlation between trauma survivors, domestic violence survivors, and substance use. And I saw that this was a really big thing. And it's something that I became passionate about because I was like, wow, these people, they're experiencing these horrible things and they are using substances to numb it instead of being able to actually address what's going on, get to the root of it and treating it in a healthy way. So I took some extra classes and then I became a dually licensed addiction counselor as well as a licensed professional counselor so I can treat mental health and substance abuse.
Awesome. So with all of that background and with, seeing everybody that you see, what is your take on mental health and fitness?
I think that people don't quite realize what a huge connection, like the mind body connection that there is. Um, I tell clients a lot that, if they're struggling with their mental health, or if they're struggling with substance abuse, even physical fitness and working out can actually help heal your brain. So there's a lot of studies that are done on people who have PTSD, specifically complex PTSD, where their amygdala is bigger than it's supposed to be because they've lived in this constant fight or flight stage for so long. Um, and physical fitness can actually help that if they're doing bilateral movements. So bilateral is using both sides of your body because it activates both hemispheres of your brain. And it's very similar if somebody's going through recovery from drug addiction. Physical fitness and physical exercise can help heal the brain. It helps release the healthy endorphins that your brain naturally produces. And a lot of times, especially like with drug abuse, your brain gets lazy and it's getting these false chemicals from the drugs that they're taking, so they might stop producing things the way that they're supposed to, like dopamine and things like that. So when they go into recovery, it's really important for them to start exercising. So I always encourage walking, swimming, bicycling, whatever they can do to get their body moving. And then for mental health, it's equally as important. Anybody that is impacted by anxiety, depression, trauma, panic attacks, especially if you're having a panic attack, it's really good to be able to ground yourself and to move your body to help kind of get you out of that flight or fight mode and realize you're safe, you're in the present moment, things like that. I'm not saying physical fitness or, physical exercise can cure those things, but it goes hand in hand with, possibly medications, therapy, but it's super important.
And what have you seen? Like when you get people coming in that maybe aren't doing, aren't exercising, aren't, doing any of that. And then you kind of give them the advice to do it. And what changes do you see like when they come back or, when they contact you? Is there like true, like big time differences? Like what goes on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had clients, who suffer from PTSD and panic attacks. And I tell them, if you're in the middle of a panic attack, if you get up, start moving, your body, and start walking, even if it's, just around your cul-de-sac. And I've had clients call me in the middle of a panic attack, and then they might call me 30 minutes later and say, oh my gosh, thank you. That helped so much. It pulled me out of it completely, because it's really grounding. You're focusing on what's actually happening as you're walking, as opposed to being, in your head where like these ruminating thoughts and this panic lies.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've actually kind of seen it firsthand. And have you noticed it like just in yourself? Do you feel better? Not that, just in general, like do you, because you prescribe it, you know what it does, but how does it make you feel?
Absolutely. So I don't hide from my clients. I myself struggle really bad with anxiety issues. And my physical fitness journey has helped tremendously. It helps, if I'm having a bad day, all I can tell myself is like, I'm going to work out after this, even if I'm, dead tired. If I do it, I just feel so much better because, the natural endorphins that it creates, and I'm doing something for myself, and I'm really focusing on a healthy goal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What challenges in all of this, since you started your fitness journey, what challenges have you faced in this journey and how did you overcome them? I know we kind of talked about that you were a gymnast and you kind of came a little scared. So let's kind of talk about what you had to overcome there.
Absolutely. So, because I was a gymnast, I have horrible knees. I would say maybe had horrible knees.
Yeah.
Because,
Past tense.
Yeah. When I first came in, I was terrified of doing lunges. There were certain exercises that I had a mental block that I was convinced I just could not do these exercises because, previously when I tried on my own or even, with my friend who was going through that training program, I could not do them. I would attempt and my knees would give out or it would be too painful. So it kind of created this mental block. And then, when I started with you in your program, you kind of showed me like, no, there are ways to do this. And, we started slow. We started light weights and things that I was able to, I think, overcome. That mental block was a huge component. But then, throughout my physical journey, I think my knees have become stronger and better. And now I can do things I never thought I would be able to do. Things I wasn't even doing, in my mid-20s or early 30s because I was too afraid to try.
Wow. So there is something very much to a mental block and pain.
Absolutely.
Can you kind of give some input, some on that? Because it's amazing, right? Because I remember you coming in, and I remember day one like it was yesterday. And I remember, you saying, I can't do lunges. I haven't done lunges. And you did a lunge and it was okay.
Yeah.
And, and like I said, you said we did it very slowly, tried to make you as comfortable as possible doing them. But once you did them, you were like, whoa. So talk to me a little bit about how truly your mind can scare you so much to where you can't do something.
Yeah, you get in that place where you're almost frozen in fear. Like I've had a negative past experience with this before. I don't want to have that negative experience again. So I am going to talk myself into a position where I can't do it. And then when I was shown that I could do it, it started to build up that confidence and in myself and like being able to say, oh, this isn't painful. Oh, I can actually do this. Oh, what was there before isn't there now. So just removing that mental block and, you showing me that I could do it was a huge component of that. And I think that similar mental blocks, I've talked to other people, it stops them from even, wanting to try, just like it did me, because it's just pure fear.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know I've had, so many clients come to me over the years with injuries and, saying they can't do things. And do you think some of it might be the way that you learned to do these things?
Absolutely.
And you weren't maybe taught properly. And then once you realize like, oh my gosh, this is the proper way to do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So, when you first started me on lunges, you had me do reverse lunges because it was a little easier on my knees. And I know you did that now to show me that I could do it without pain and to probably remove some of that fear. But, having the correct form is everything. And that's what I was missing before. And that is why it would hurt and it was uncomfortable and why I got scared, because I was never shown the right way to do it.
Yeah. So if there's somebody listening right now that, has, pain and it's as real to them as, night and day and it could be whatever, what advice would you give to somebody that is in pain and scared to train because of the pain? What is your advice with that?
I think it's really important to, I would say starting is a really good first step, but I think really trying to find somebody that is supportive but is also knowledgeable, like someone like you or another trainer, and that knows your limitations and respects your limitations, but also is going to push you in appropriate ways. Because I've talked to other people and they've had trainers push them to the point where they've re-injured themselves and it went in a south direction.
Sure.
And they felt like, they had to do it or they were disappointing it. Their trainer, the program that they were on. So I think finding someone that's knowledgeable, that's comfortable enough to push you when you need to be pushed, but also respecting you and your boundaries when you're like, I'm not comfortable doing that, or this feels kind of funny, it's super important.
Now, what are your thoughts? So with community and training. So, you say, okay, get the trainer, that's wonderful. Make sure you're doing things properly. Make sure they support you, make sure all that good stuff. But what aspect does having other people, because you are in a group of, 4, sometimes 5.
Yes.
But what is that impact for you as far as, the motivation, the pushing through, the everything of that?
Absolutely. I think community is so important, especially with something with like physical health for women, because in everyday society, we're constantly pitted against each other and she's prettier and she's skinnier and she's this and she's that and I don't have this and I'm not that. And so when you find a community where it's purely just encouragement and love and support, it's amazing. I think it makes all the difference. Like, I'm so grateful for the group of women that I work out with, because there's never any competition. It is purely just, you can do this and you look amazing and I believe in you. And when you have that type of support, especially when you're overcoming an injury, it really, like, they believe in you or they believe in me, so it makes me believe in me. When they think I can do something and they're hyping me up, I'm like, okay, they think I can do this, now I think I can do this. And then I end up doing it.
Yeah. And how good does it feel? Because, as a trainer, I get to enjoy all of this as well. But how good does it feel when you accomplish something you didn't think you could, and then somebody is like rooting for you, and somebody is so excited, and they're saying congratulations. And I mean, what does that do for you?
I mean, I personally, I think it's one of the best feelings in the world. Like when I accomplish something that's like a personal record, and then they're all rooting for me. I like, it's the highlight of my week. I go and I tell everyone, I'm like, I didn't think I could do this. I did this crazy amount of weight. All of the women that were there were so supportive of me. I think it's made a huge difference in my personal like physical health journey.
So let's talk about this. You lift like crazy now.
Yeah.
So you came in 2 years ago, scared to do lunges. How were squats? Were they okay? Still kind of nervous?
I was nervous about
you
squats.
were nervous about squats. You definitely didn't want to lift heavy on your knees.
No.
There was a lot of fear. Let's talk about in 2 years. Let's talk about some things, right? So from 2 years of not wanting to put any weight on your knee to where you are now, let's talk about some of your PRs that you said. I want to hear what are the PRs that you have, and how do you think you're able to attain those?
So some of my PRs, so I hit a 340-pound hip thrust. So I talked to you about that.
Yes.
My leg press, I did 320. That one really surprised me. I never thought I would be able to do that much in a leg press because of my knees. Like even on a leg press, sometimes if your form is off, it can bother your knees. And so it was surprising, but I've loved it. And, I don't think that I would have even tried if I didn't have, the support and the encouragement of, everyone that I work out with. But it really fuels me to try more and to try better and to want to lift heavier, because I know I can do it, and I want to show them that I can do it, and they hype me up to make me think that I can do it. So it's been crazy to see, not being able to do a body weight lunge to, doing some of the weights that I've been doing.
It is absolutely amazing. And one of the biggest reasons that I wanted you here is because, I want people to know that you can overcome, and not only can you overcome, but you can just absolutely kill it. And, I would say by far, you're probably one of the, biggest lifters of the legs that we have. And and it's really, really awesome. But here's the other side of that, or not necessarily the other side of it, but the thing is that you can come to this group and lift more than anybody in the group. And the group supports you,
mm-hmm.
encourages you, and is not jealous, is not catty, is not any of this. What do you think? Why do you think that happens in this environment?
I just think that maybe because of like the goal that we're all trying to attain, and because of the mindset that we all came in here with, because I don't ever look at them as competitors. I look at them as my friends, and I want them to be able to hit their own PRs and lift heavy, or, set out and do their goals and smash those goals, and let's bump the goal up to the next thing. So I think that it's just the community is so important in, building confidence in one another.
Well, and what I notice as a trainer is we can have a group, and we can have a group where I've had people for 2 years, and they're absolutely just going in there and rocking and killing. And then we have a brand new person come in, which we have in our group. And that brand new person comes in, they're scared to death, first of all, right? Because they're like, oh my gosh, first of all, these people have been together. I don't know what I'm doing. They're nervous, but I feel like they're set at ease very quickly. And I feel the reason for that is because they're looking at you as, oh my gosh, that is something what I want to attain.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at them, and I don't want to speak for you, but I just know you're not looking at them like I'm better than them. Oh my gosh, why are you so weak? I mean, that is the last thing. You are like, I've been there.
Absolutely.
And here I am, and I am so excited to see you get to where I am, or close to where I am. And, they're looking to you as like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. And you're looking at them like, oh, they're so cool. And I think it's such a great environment to have both sides, all elements, all levels in one classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially people that are coming in that are new. I always try to, say something encouraging and make them feel at ease, because I've been there. I've been in that gym environment where I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like everybody's judging me. It's hard to go in there, especially if you have an injury or you haven't worked out in years and you really feel bad about yourself and you don't know what you're doing. But if you can come into an environment where it's immediately supportive, you're put at ease, and then you see other people and you're like, I want to be able to do that. How can I get there? It's super empowering, I think.
One thing I want to talk about, and you can share as much as you want on this, is like you said, you feel better. And you feel better in your own skin, and you're proud of yourself, and you're all of these things. Something that is really exciting that I saw with you is I'm such a big advocate of, like, let's wear the tank tops.
Yeah.
Let's wear the shorts. Let's, first of all, wear what you want to wear when you want to wear it and feel confident in it. But especially, when we're in the weight room, especially when we're doing those things, I want, you guys to feel confident. Was there a time where you felt a little bit more confident to make a change?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say probably less 6-ish months, 7 months. You said when I first started, I was always covered, very baggy clothes, hoodies. I was very uncomfortable in my own skin. And like I said, that's why I started, right? Because the cardio wasn't working. I wasn't getting these results, and I didn't feel like me. And that was a horrible feeling, to not feel like yourself. And then, as I got stronger and more confident and I started to see these changes, I was like, I feel a little better about myself. So maybe I'm going to wear a tank top. And then it morphed into a racer tank. And then, last week I was wearing shorts, and I never wear shorts, but I've been working really hard on my legs. And so I'm getting to a point now where I'm like, I want to show this off. I work hard. I've trained so many days a week, and I put in the work and the effort, and it's showing. And so I want to see that, and I want other people to see it.
Absolutely. And that is one of my favorite things to see, because I see people, morph from different, I've been doing this for a long time. And so I see people starting, like you said, in the baggy clothes. And then, it's like, well, why can't I wear a tank top? Okay, yeah. I'm going to wear a tank top. And then you come to class in a tank top and everybody's like, woohoo! Yeah. I mean, what do you do from there when
right.
all these women are supporting you and saying, oh my gosh, you look so good. And then we start seeing muscles, and things are just so exciting, and you feel confident and you feel strong. And it's just such a great environment. And I kind of want to go back to, like, I feel like, women get a bad rep, because a lot of times when we are in environments with groups of women, a lot of times we are judged. A lot of times we are told, there's a lot of jealousy that goes on. There's just a lot of stupidity that goes, even in our 40s, whatever, it can still happen. But I feel like when you are in a positive environment of something that is making you better, and everybody in the group wants to get better, I feel like it's almost impossible to have that pettiness and that cattiness. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely agree with that. Yeah. Like that positive environment where, like I said, I don't think I've ever felt judged ever here. It's always been, you can do this. You're amazing. You're so strong. And we're all like that to each other, right? You look so good. Oh my gosh, you look so amazing. And I've been in those environments before. I mean, even when I was a gymnast, right? Like the competition is crazy, and you're pitted against each other. Well, she's skinnier and she can do this better and she can do that better. And, it can really wear on you and tear you down. So when you come into an environment where it's just pure love, it changes everything.
It does. And I think especially with women, because we can be so catty, and hopefully it can just, help women learn that we don't need to be that way, and we can be supportive, and we can be caring, and it's going to be a great experience.
Yeah.
And there's zero reason to be jealous of anybody.
It's such a better experience.
Yes. Well, and how much work it takes for everybody to get there. And I think that's where the appreciation comes from too, because it's like, well, look at Jess, she's doing this. I know how hard she had to work to get there.
Absolutely.
Because I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
People are like, I'm trying to get there. Or like, again, I know how hard this new person, I know what they're feeling like. I know how hard it is for them. I feel for them. I want them to succeed. And I can't wait to cheer them on and get them going.
Yeah.
So it's just like I said, I just feel like the environment is such a positive, wonderful environment. And I feel like it's everybody that brings that to the table. It's not one person that creates this environment. It is the entire group that creates this environment. And it's a wonderful thing to see. I get to see it all the time. I'm so freaking lucky.
You are.
I am so lucky. So let's talk about, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about your fitness lifestyle?
I've heard a couple things. Some people are like, you're getting really skinny. I don't think I'm getting skinny. I think that I I'm definitely losing inches and things, but I'm also gaining muscle and seeing stuff I've never seen before, which is so cool. Especially, like I said, I just turned 40. The fact that I'm seeing muscles that I didn't have in my 20s is like the most amazing feeling. Another one is if you continue to lift the way that you are, you're going to get bulky. And I'm like, do you know how hard it is to bulk up? Like, it takes so much to actually do that. So I think that those are the two biggest things that I hear, and I know that both are not true and kind of ridiculous.
Well, and how stupid, because they're polar opposites.
Yes.
You're being told polar opposite. The first person is telling you this strength training is getting you too skinny, you're looking too skinny. And then this next person is telling you that you're going to get bulky.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I've been doing this for 2 years and I'm bulky. I mean,
exactly.
That's not happening. I got this other person telling me I'm skinny. What's going on here? But again, I think, you know, as women, probably we do get judged on, well, we get judged on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see somebody that maybe isn't in the fitness or in a fitness as much as you are, maybe it could be a little bit of jealousy, or maybe it could be just like, you know, and I honestly think jealousy is mostly because those are not positive things. To be told you're too skinny, you're going to get bulky. I feel like those are discouraging things.
Yeah.
Those are not things that we need to hear as women.
No.
And hopefully women, you know, they're listening to this, understand that.
Yeah.
You know, that it's like you work really hard to get somewhere. It's not like any of this comes easy.
Yeah.
And so when it's kind of degraded like that, it doesn't feel good.
Absolutely. There's something that I like to tell clients a lot, and that is like, people want to have company in misery, right? And it is so much easier to try to pull someone back down to their level instead of actually doing the work to get to where, you know, the person is that they're trying to tear down. So that's kind of the way that I look at it, is that, you know, that might be your perception, but I am doing this work and I'm happy with it. So how you feel about it, I mean, you can have your opinion, you're entitled to that. But if I'm happy and I like what's going on, then I'm going to continue to do so. And I'm going to be at this level. And if it is jealousy, then if you put that aside, maybe you can start to do some work and, you know, come up to where I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think like you said, just realizing that, you know, everybody has their insecurities, everybody has their weaknesses, everybody has everything. And so as women, we should be encouraging strength as opposed to discouraging it. And I think that that's something that we can all learn from that. And I think it's, like I said, I see it every single day in these groups, and it's amazing to see. And I just wish it could be everywhere.
Me too.
But, you know, I think that there is one, you know, major thing that brings it all together is fitness,
Mm-hmm.
right? So fitness makes us happier.
Yes.
Fitness makes us enjoy life more. Fitness makes us not think about all of our problems as much. Fitness, when you're working out, the last thing you're thinking about is talking about somebody or whatever. And so I feel like it can just create positive environments in you. And I'm sure, you know, all of your clients and all of that fitness, I mean, it's just such a great thing for all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we are about to close here, but what I would love for you to do, if you could, because we, you know, might have some people that have, you know, don't work out or they're scared, or, you know, what advice would you give someone struggling in their fitness journey right now?
Like I said, I think I kind of already said it, but take that first step. See what you can find. See if you can find a good community. See if you can find a trainer. If you don't know where to start, ask people that you know. Ask people, you know, people get very intimidated in gym environments, but I promise most people are excited to talk to you if you have a question, or you're like, how do I use this machine, or what can I do, you know, for this? People, especially women, I think that, like I said, we're pitted against each other so much, but I know anytime that I've been, you know, approached or anything, I'm so excited to be like, oh, you know, share my knowledge or whatever. But I really think just taking that first step and know that you're not alone. Know that, you know, we've all been there. We've been scared. We had injuries, but it can be overcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so happy that you were here. I was so excited for you to be able to chat with us, and can't wait to see you. I'm going to see you soon this week anyway. So thank you so much, girl.
All right, thanks, Lori.
Thank you so much for listening to the Women on Weights podcast. I hope you learned something new and exciting and enjoyed this podcast today. I cannot wait to come to you next time with more information and more exciting things. Just so you know, I do have an online on-demand weight training program that you can do anywhere. It is an awesome program that's going to show you how to warm up to safely, efficiently, and effectively weight train. We're going to be making that core nice and strong, strengthening those muscles, and building nice, long, lean muscles. You can do 1 to 3 days a week of weight training and 1 to 3 days of cardio, and nutrition and habit coaching is all included in this. I can't wait to see you again. If you're interested in the online on demand, please click on the link in the show notes. Once again, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I cannot wait to see you next time.